Drugs. See your girl in the park. System overload.
This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full all-time MMA. Don't be a bagel biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
Oh. Now you can hear me. Now you can hear me. What I was saying is, what a night of fights last night it was. Mousasi versus McDonald. Epic. Also, that moment of silence, I was actually given a moment of silence, so that kind of works. The moment of silence was for the ashtray last night. That moment of silence was for the ashtray. So, with that being said, let's give some shout-outs before we start the show. We're going to be talking about Mousasi versus McDonald. We're going to be trying to get the panel in here. We're going to be talking about McGregor versus Khabib and what was just recently pointed out to me. First of all, the UFC's changed the USADA policy, and just in time for my boy Sean O'Malley, but he still got out ahead of this thing. He didn't have to say anything about this USADA violation, and people might have never knew. We could have suspected it was an injury, but he got out in front of this thing, and he said, "Hey guys, we're going to go over that as well." He got out in front of it and let everyone know it is a USADA violation, but he believes it's a contaminated supplement. And I mean, Sean O'Malley's never came across as a fucking cheater. You know what I'm saying? He plays Fortnite and trains for his fights. I don't see him going, you know what I'm saying, in between time taking steroids, and he's never looked like a guy that's taking steroids. But it is what it is. You know, there's going to be people that form their own opinion, but the fact that he came out and got in front of this thing, and he didn't have to. He could have just let people speculate it was an injury involved with his leg. People recently saw that injury that had him out for a while. And then, you know, there was even maybe speculations of he wasn't 100% coming into this fight. So people would have just thought it was an injury. But he got out in front of this and let everyone know what's going on. So we're going to talk about this USADA violation from Sugar Sean O'Malley. And yes, he is out at UFC 229, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's the way the game goes. I mean, USADA, I was just, you know, kind of like, you know, USADA's been under fire lately. A lot of people are like, what the fuck? Brock's coming back. John Jones is coming back. All these fighters are popping for steroids, and come to find out they're innocent. So you're ruining guys' reputations. You're doing all of this. And USADA, though, their integrity was remaining intact through all of this. And if we're lagging, let me know. I might need to direct connect, because I'm not direct connected right now. So if we lag it all, let me know, and I'll try and fix that. But yeah, so USADA, they've really been, a lot of people are like, kind of been like Fook USADA lately, because they feel like, you know what I'm saying, with John Jones coming back and all these people coming back, that they don't have their integrity. But we see Brock Lesnar, he is shrinking, which would look like because he's tested by USADA. And also John Jones, come to find out, his 30-month reduction came with some substantial assistance clause, and so it's not like they just paid him and he's just coming back because they want him back. Well, now one of my favorite fighters, of course, Sean O'Malley, has felt a USADA violation, and it is what it is. I believe this, like many cases we've seen so many times recently, it's a damn contaminated supplement. Come to find out, he's going to be cleared. But here we are now. He's lost one of the biggest opportunities of his life because some stupid-ass contaminated supplement, and that's unfortunate. But I do got to play devil's advocate and make a joke. This explains punching harder than Tyron Woodley. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. That's a joke. But salute to the chat. Let's give some shout-outs to everyone in the family. We got Unemployed Mario Yamasaki in the building. Fat Ninja Flip, Kim Jong Uzi, Stamina MC London calling. We got the fucking peasant Leonidas of Sparta. He says, look at Sam O'Malley's shit show. Just as dumb as the host of this show. Yo, he's innocent. Hashtag free O'Malley, eat a dick. That pagan life in the building. What's up, brother? He says, damn, people just come and watch. Don't hit that like button. Yo, thank you for pointing that out, man. If you haven't yet, don't be a baby back bagel biting bitch boy. Do your boy a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Unemployed Mario Yamasaki said, did anyone check the new mac and cheese? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that later. Let's get that off the screen. I'm going to be sending out the link sooner rather than later so we can get the live panel in here. We're going to just start talking right from the jump about Mousasi versus McDonald. Thoughts on that? I mean, holy smokes. Gegard Mousasi letting everybody know. Like I've been saying, the Moose, the GOAT, One of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. That ass whooping last night was nothing against Rory MacDonald. That does not take away from how good of a welterweight fighter Rory MacDonald is. Rory MacDonald is still a fucking savage and could still be the best welterweight on the planet. It's definitely debatable. But Gegard Mousasi stepping up to middleweight's not the one you want to fuck with. If you're a middleweight, Gegard Mousasi's not the one you want to fuck with. I'm a big fan of Gastelum and Whitaker, but I'm telling you right now, Gegard Mousasi's not the one you want to fuck with. Now, we saw that last night. Some people might still doubt it. It is what it is. But Gegard Mousasi looked fucking amazing, defended his middleweight crown, and said, hold on, Rory MacDonald. You're not going to be the champ over here at Bellator quite yet, my boy. So, epic fucking performance that was last night. Rampage Jackson knocked out Vanderlei Silva. What was it, the third round? KO TKO Vanderlei Silva. They're now 2-2. Oh shit, son. Rampage Jackson is back. Welterweight Grand Prix kicked off last night. Douglas Lima beat Andrei Koreshkov in the trilogy. Moved on in the welterweight Grand Prix. Now Douglas Lima is going to be facing the winner of Paul Daly and MVP. What the fuck? Let's go. Unfortunate for Andrei Koreshkov, but it's only his third professional loss. He'll bounce back. You know what I'm saying? He's still one of the best welterweights in the world, you could say. I mean, he's looked good against Lima. He lost the trilogy last night, but in the first fight, he won a pretty dominant fight. In the second fight, he was looking good, got a couple takedowns, which is what he was wanting. That's how he won the first fight before ultimately getting finished. And last night, Douglas Lima came back and let everybody know, reminded us about those leg kicks that almost fucking helped him beat Rory MacDonald. Douglas Lima has fought Rory MacDonald. That's who Rory won the belt from. And Douglas Lima, man, has continued to improve and improve and improve ever since each of those fights with Koreshkov, and he looked great last night. Holy shit, Aaron Pico with the knockout of Leandro Higo. Oh shit. I was talking to my friend earlier, one of my real life friends who he actually trains down here with some of the professional fighters that come from Kansas, and he was like, so who do you think is next for Aaron Pico? And I was like, I mean, I don't know who, but ideally a contender at featherweight, right? He just showed he can beat one of the highest skilled fighters. I mean, Leandro Higo's a bantamweight title challenger, 18-4, very experienced. He was coming up a division, but now Pico, to see him fight a featherweight contender, I think that would be a good move for him. You know, now one in his weight class, still a step up. I think he can do it, man. I don't know how it would go, but I would love to see it. And I think that's probably what's next, because where do you go? You can't go from Leandro Higo to beating up guys that are, you know, I think Aaron Pico has the potential to be one of the youngest champions in the sport, for sure. For sure. I mean, so with that being said, featherweight contender, and then maybe a title shot soon after that. But which featherweight contender, man? He just beat Little Pitbull. Leandro Higo, Little Pitbull. We got Patricky and Patricio. I think Patricky fights at 145. Pico versus Patricky. Pitbull. You beat Little Pitbull, now step up. Yo, what are we talking about? I want to see Pico versus Patricky Pitbull. So yeah, with that being said, let's check out the chat. I'm about to send out the links. Let me pull up the Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts. Oh, and there's really, I wanted to start the show off with some UFC Yankovic shit. You know, with this Sean O'Malley news, I was going to run the Stan O'Malley and the kill shot. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know how I'm coming on this Sean O'Malley topic. Complex Multiplexer says Gegard should stay in Bellator because he was a gatekeeper in the UFC. You're bad. You're wrong. You're crazy. What the fuck are you talking about? What part of his performance last night says gatekeeper in the UFC? What part of his performance when he won the title says gatekeeper in the UFC? What part of his performance against Chris Weidman says gatekeeper? He left the UFC on a 5-fight winning streak, and he's got a great matchup against Whitaker or Gastelum. I think you're tripping, dog. Gegard sucks. He's a UFC reject, says Complex Multiplexing. Couldn't be champ there, so he ran to Bellator. I don't think that's what it was. He couldn't get a damn title shot, it seemed. He offered to step up on short notice and fight at light heavyweight for the belt, and they brought in Anderson Silva on 2 days' notice instead. I mean, and at that time, the middleweight division was log jammed. You had fucking Bisping and GSP injured or waiting on one another and ended up fighting each other. But in the meantime, you got Rockhold, Weidman, Romero, Jacare. I mean, you got all of these. And by the way, Whitaker was injured. There wasn't a real path to the title. That division was too log jammed, and the UFC showed they clearly didn't believe in his selling potential when they let Anderson Silva step up and fight on 2 days' notice, you know, instead of putting Gegard in that title fight that he probably earned. So, I mean, yeah, Gegard. Benji says Gegard's on the no love list. I agree with that. I think Gegard just didn't get those opportunities. Maybe it's because he doesn't have as big of a fan base, which is, I don't know why. If you tell his fucking story, I think anybody would be a huge fan of Gegard Mousasi. But you know what I'm saying? It's probably some political bullshit. Rick Sanchez responded to Complex Multiplexing. He wanted that sweet Bellator check, says Pauly BS. And yeah, that's another thing. He's probably making more money in Bellator than he was in the UFC. He's got sponsors now. I mean, he's trying to make some money. He's trying to start his own little gym, like at his house and shit. Like I've seen some shit on Gegard. Like he's got a gym where they train like at his house and his family and stuff. So Gegard's a beast, man. 45-6 Gegard, says Benji. Yeah, what are we talking about? 45-6. Check the resume, dog. With that being said, Google Hangouts, pulling it up now. I see a few people in here. I don't know who's all here who wants to join the Hangout, but I'm going to get that link now if you do. Boom. And we can talk about Bellator 206, and then we'll talk about UFC 229, and then, of course, the Sean O'Malley. I wonder if we should do that now. I wonder if I should do that now. Just talk about that before, because that's probably not a panel discussion. People really don't have to break down and dissect that. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. Let me get everything ready. There's the Hangout. Let me get the link. Invite people. Got the link. And we don't have a packed house tonight, so I'll put the link in the chat. Well, we already got a troll in the building. I can't put the fucking... We got a troll to fuck up this whole thing. There needs to be like a control board. I should be able to kick somebody off of this chat if I need to. Or I should be able to fucking... I should be able to mute somebody. Like if I invite people to a hangout, I don't got no options to kick a motherfucker off. That's messed up. So this is what we'll do. This is how we'll do it. I will talk about the Sean O'Malley USADA violation real quick. Hashtag free O'Malley. Y'all know how I'm coming on this topic, guy. He's fucking innocent. I don't even know why we're going here. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to read it. He's jumping in front of this. He didn't have to speak on it. We're going to talk about real quick the USADA policy change. And then while I do that, if you want to join the chat, put your email. And I'll get your email and I'll send it to you so you can join the Google Hangout. If you want to join the Google Hangout, give me your email and we'll all break this down. So I'm going to pull up my email as well. And now, with that being said, so yeah, UFC has changed its policy on when it announces failed drug test. And I like this policy because, and I don't know how much it's going to help, but I still like what they're trying to do. Because it seemed like people's reputations were starting to get ruined, you know what I'm saying? And they were losing fights, which was one thing. You know, you're already losing loss of wages. And we were talking about this on a whole nother level. Like, this is shit if it wasn't by, like, someone who was hired by your employer. You could get sued for it, right? Loss of wages, defamation of character. And it really felt like, in my view, that's what it felt like was going on. And that's just my view as a fan. But you're taking away fights like Junior Dos Santos. He was supposed to fight Francis Ngannou. That fight got taken away. They said it was USADA. He got flagged by USADA. And anytime that headline comes out, flagged by USADA, people are like, oh, he's fucking cheating. So that's the defamation of character part. Everyone's thinking that these guys cheated. And, you know, so people are calling them cheaters, of course, on social media, wherever. People are looking at these guys as cheaters. And they lost a big opportunity, only to come find out a few months later these motherfuckers are innocent. This has happened so many times now. Fucking flagged by USADA, lose a fight, innocent. Lose a fight, flagged by USADA, innocent. Losing time off your career. You're under contract with the UFC. You can't really do much else as a fighter while you're flagged by USADA. So it was feeling like you were guilty until, you know, proven innocent. Well, now you're not gonna see those headlines, and that's why I changed this one, flagged by USADA, because USADA doesn't flag you anymore. Now it's still USADA violation, and we know that because Sean O'Malley announced it, and I like that he's doing that because with this new headline anyway, and with this new policy, that they're not going to announce it. If you just don't fight, and you know what I'm saying, and there's not an injury announced, people are going to speculate anyway. So USADA's not really the one. USADA's not going to be defaming anyone's character. They're not going to be throwing it out in the public. Hey, this motherfucker failed a test, guys. Bleep, bleep, bleep. But people are probably still going to speculate. So, but USADA's hands are kind of clean in this. But either way, this is what's going on now. And this policy was just announced today, I believe. And Sean O'Malley's coming out and getting ahead of it and letting us know what's going on. But yeah, this is the new policy. It says, part of the feedback Jeff and I received from the athletes is, I would have appreciated the opportunity to adjudicate this so the story could be, I tested positive, a full investigation was conducted, and it found the use was unintentional. The story is very different than giving somebody a 6-month window where they're trying to defend themselves against accusations they're a cheater. So I like what they're doing here. So that's the new policy. USADA's not going to just blatantly flag you. You got the chance to defend yourself before it's made official. So with that being said, I'm going to make sure I pull up the chat for anyone that's going to be throwing out their email. But yeah, now that takes us to where we're at with the Sean O'Malley situation. So let me check and make sure if there's any emails in here. At Dutch Black, oh, he's responding there. All right, won't let me put in email, says No Filter MMA. Here, I'll put in my email and you can email me. fulltimemma1@gmail. There's my email. You email me with your email, and I'll motherfucking email you the link. Alright, so with that being said, now let's get to the Sean O'Malley situation. He's coming out and getting in front of this, which is another thing I like, because if you're innocent, which you probably are, you're like, fuck that, I'm not going to sit around and just let people think I'm cheating. Like, this is what's going on, guys. And I'll just read it. It says, hey guys, Sugar Show here. I want to be the first to let you know about what's going on. As many of you may have seen, the UFC announced this weekend that they are no longer announcing potential violations of the USADA program because of the high number of unintentional use cases under the program, and are instead waiting until the end. I find myself caught up in one of these exact cases right now. Even though under the new policy, my case would not be public right now, I feel it's important to be upfront and honest with my fans about why I'm not fighting next weekend. I've been working with Jeff Nowitzki at UFC, and I believe that we've already identified a dietary supplement that would have caused this. We've sent remaining samples from the bottle I took to the USADA lab, as well as a full sealed bottle. I'm told the testing of these supplements can take as long as 30 days. I will continue to update you all about the findings, but I fully expect the results to be what we already know, or what I already know, that I did nothing on purpose. For everyone that follows me and was excited for my fight, I'm truly sorry. It hurts a lot not being able to get out there and do what I love on the biggest stage. I have no intention of cheating, and am fully confident the results of this case will show that. I love my fans, and I hope the impact on my career is minimal, and I'm back to fighting real soon. So that's his public statement, getting out in front of it, letting us know what's going on. So with that being said, email sent. All right, let me get that from No Filtered MMA. Replying. All right, so I'm copying that now, and I'll get you the link. Actually, I'm just gonna reply to your email. Y'all just reply to your email with the link. Boom. That's how that works. All right, so with that being said, let's go make sure this is, yeah, we're good over here too. So whenever you hop on the panel, you'll be on the screen. So with that being said, that's what's going on, man. This is innocent until proven guilty. He's getting out in front of it, letting us know what's going on. And if you look at Sean O'Malley, he doesn't strike you as a guy that's just fucking a cheater. He's not a guy that has to get to the top by any means. He's very leisure, very casual about how things go, it seems, you know. Like, it's not like he's like, he's like, I knew I was going to be a fucking star. I knew I was going to be here in my career. And it's not nothing. You don't look at him like, oh shit, you know, this kid's fucking cheating. Look at him. He doesn't, it's not like he's somebody that fails the eye test. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, in the meantime, in between time, a lot of the time, he's running a fucking Fortnite tournament or something. He doesn't seem like a kid that's out here cheating and trying to cheat to get to the top. You know, doing coke and shit on the weekends and whatever. I mean, and nothing wrong with doing coke on the weekends. Nothing wrong with doing coke on the weekends. I'm just saying, you know, when you look at somebody that potentially is a cheater, he just doesn't paint. He doesn't seem like a guy that's got that fucking rap. You know, he doesn't seem like one of those dudes. And that's to me. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I mean, I haven't ever seen anybody. Have you ever seen anyone? Oh, that kid's on steroids. Like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that's a common thing. We got No Filter MMA in the building. What's going on?
What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm in the building, guys. How y'all doing?
How is it
Shout out
going?
to Full Time.
What's going on? But so yeah, man. You watched Bellator 206 last night?
Absolutely, 100%.
It's crazy. Okay, so that's really what we're going to be talking about first. Thanks for coming on the show, and I'm going to pull up the chat. So, of course, we got the family involved. But, so, man, we'll start off with the main event. Mousasi versus McDonald, champ versus champ, welterweight Rory McDonald champion, who's got the win over Tyron Woodley. So, he's definitely arguably one of the best welterweights on the planet, taking on the best welterweight on the planet, in my opinion, Gegard Mousasi, not welterweight, the best middleweight on the planet, Gegard Mousasi. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but boy, he looked good last night. What'd you think about that main event between Mousasi and McDonald?
Well, I actually read a statement that Rory McDonald put out, and he said he just wasn't mentally there. And which that happens with fighters and whatnot. But just looking at the fight, man, you can, when you go back and look at it, really looks like he was not fully in it because he was very hesitant. But I mean, not to take anything away from Gegard Mousasi's performance, man, he put on a great performance. I just think he kind of overwhelmed Rory McDonald. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, and he looked a lot bigger. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Even in the fight, it was like you could tell he was a weight class up in there. But yeah, that's another thing. I was talking with someone else earlier today, one of my friends, and he was saying that as well. He was like, man, Roy looked real hesitant in there, and he was pointing that out as well. So I mean, yeah, he probably wasn't. I mean, but I don't know. Do you think the moment got to him? I don't think the moment got to him. I really think he was kind of. It was going to be a tough fight. Maybe I don't know I don't think there's a good game plan against Gegard Mousasi, so I mean maybe he was a little overwhelmed. But I think I don't think that takes away from Mousasi's performance. I mean, because I think if they were to rematch and Rory McDonald, even if he wasn't hesitant, I don't know, if he wins the fight if they fight 3 times. Now maybe there's some people that disagree with that, but I think that's probably people that might underrate Gegard Mousasi. But yeah, it is what it is. So
right.
In the co-main event, we had Wanderlei Silva taking on Rampage Jackson, 4th fight. Rampage got the KO TKO. It was in the 2nd round. It was the 2nd round? Okay. Oh, yeah, it was in the 2nd round. So what'd you think about that, man? What'd you think about the fight going into it? Were you hyped for it? And then either way you watched it, did it deliver?
Yeah, man, I was very skeptical, before this. I was like, how are these guys going to look? Like, how are these guys really going to look? And then, man, they actually didn't look that bad. To be guys that's both over 40 years old, they actually look pretty good. But, it was just like the pressure of Rampage Jackson, man. He put a lot of pressure on Wanderlei Silva, man. And Wanderlei was striking his way out. Like, he was striking his way out from, getting pinned up against that cage. But it was just, once again, a size difference, man, was just a huge, huge thing. I mean, Rampage was huge in there last night.
Yeah, I think he came in and he weighed 25 to 30 pounds more than Wanderlei. They're fighting a heavyweight, so there's that weight gap. But yeah, man, he was definitely big in there. And now I see someone, IQ Logic says, let's talk UFC 229. No one wants to speak of these has-been fighters. Well, now these guys are 2-2. We might be seeing Rampage versus Wanderlei 5 just for you. So we'll see if that comes up in the future. But yeah, man, Rampage got the W, and that was a good look for him on such a huge card. I mean, this was, I can't think of a more stacked Bellator card ever, but maybe Madison Square Garden. I don't want to be a prisoner at the moment, but definitely of the year. I think Bellator's most stacked card of the year, so a big win on such a big card. Had a lot of eyes on it. The kickoff of the welterweight Grand Prix, Koreshkov versus Lima. I think Lima's very underrated. I agree with you. I seen someone just said that in the chat. Unemployed Mario Yamasaki says, my guy Douglas Lima is super underrated. I agree with you, man. Douglas Lima, he's a very talented fighter. I think he picked up his 30th win last night. He's now 30-7. He put Andrei Koreshkov to sleep with a rear naked choke in the 5th round. This was a trilogy fight. These guys were both former Bellator welterweight champions. Koreshkov won the first fight, was able to utilize his grappling. Lima's just continued to improve since then. He was able to get the knockout, actually, in the 2nd fight, I believe in the 3rd round. And then last night he got the 5th round submission. So he not only did he show he's improved his grappling, but also he got a fucking submission. I mean, and of course that's not how he won the fight. It's not like he just came in here and out grappled Koreshkov the whole fight. But still, to win this fight with the submission, I think just shows how well rounded and talented Douglas Lima has become. He might be in his prime right now. Who knows? And I think he can really make a deep run in this welterweight Grand Prix, Douglas Lima. He's going to have to fight the winner of Michael Venom Page and Paul Daly, which that's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait to see that fight. But yeah, this welterweight Grand Prix is dope. What did you think about that fight last night between Lima and Koreshkov? And then also, what do you think Douglas Lima's about him in a potential fight with Daly versus MVP, the winner of that fight?
Well, last night, judging at how he looked last night, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's kind of hard to keep up with UFC, Invicta, Bellator, all of them. And I haven't really seen him fight much. But last night he looked really, really good. He looked really good, and he showed that he's a threat on the feet and on the ground. Because that rear naked choke was not something to play with, man.
Yeah.
And I'd rather see him fight. I'd rather see him actually get tested, and I'd like to see him fight Michael Venom Page next. So I'm kind of rooting for Michael Venom Page in that fight that he has coming up
with Paul Daly. Yeah, that would be a great fight. Who snaps? That would be Michael Venom Page taking on a former welterweight champion. So, I mean, people have been wanting to see the competition level turned up for Michael Venom Page, and he's got no easy ones in this welterweight tournament. If he gets through Paul Daly, which you could argue is the toughest fight of his career to date, then he's going to be facing Douglas Lima, who's looked amazing in this fight. Showed he's got the grappling, the rear naked choke, like you said, was nothing to play with. And, Koreshkov himself is actually a really good wrestler. That's how he's been able to have such a good record. I mean, coming into this fight, I think Koreshkov was 22-2. I mean, he only or 3 losses, but either way, he looked really good, former champion, and he'd already beat Lima with that. So yeah, man, I would love to see him versus MVP as well. But what do you think about that matchup between MVP versus Paul Daly?
Oh man, that's a tough one, man. I mean, it's tough, but then it's not tough. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough, but it's not tough. I mean, I just think that Michael Venom Page I just think he has his way with him, man. I see a knockout in probably the 2nd round. It's and Paul Daly, he's great, either way the fight, wherever the fight goes, but Michael Venom Page has a lot of steam behind him right now, so I'm projecting that he takes the win most definitely. There's a fight I want to ask you about too, full time, but I'm gonna let you finish talking. There's a fight I want to talk about on the Bellator card last night.
Okay, sounds good. Rich Sanchez says MVP wins all day. Yeah, man, MVP, and it's a lower level, but he reminds me sort of like the Wonder Boy of Bellator, but not Wonder Boy because I don't want to disrespect Wonder Boy. I don't think he's on the level of Wonder Boy, but with his karate style, I think he's got a good matchup against strikers, especially if you're going to be more of a brawler, or you know what I'm saying? If you're going to be somebody that's not going to really come in there, and this is where he differs from Wonder Boy, because I think Wonder Boy is actually better against high-level grapplers, but people are really looking to see Michael Venom Page tested on the ground. I think that's probably, we know his striking. I mean, we just saw he fought David Rickles in his last fight, and David Rickles just couldn't figure out the puzzle to the point where he was like, all right, fuck this, dude. He's just,
yeah,
I'm out of here. Man. He just, no mas. He just waved the fight off. Like, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm going home.
I'm done.
Yeah, that was funny. So, and Paul Daly, he's been in there with some tough guys. He's been in the UFC, even before the UFC. He's been fighting some of the best fighters in the world. Paul Daly's definitely a step up in competition for Michael Venom Page, but I kind of agree with you. I like the matchup for Michael Venom Page. Unless Paul Daly decides to come in there and try and, show that he's more well-rounded and utilize some grappling, but I think Paul Daly's the type of guy, he wants to show that he can strike with MVP. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He just got fucking out-grappled by John Fitch. He's not trying to do that to win a fight. So I think he's going to try and stand up with Michael Venom Page, and Michael Venom Page, like you said, that he could definitely take advantage of that situation and either have his way with him. And now Paul Daly hits hard, but he, you know what I'm saying? He's a great striker, but I think that's Michael Venom Page's specialty. So I'm super looking forward to that fight and this welterweight Grand Prix in general. So another fight, and after this one, I'll ask you we can talk about whichever fight you want to. But Pico versus Leandro Higo. Aaron Pico is now 4-1. First round, like, I thought Pico could win this fight, but I did not expect it to be in the first round. The competition level got turned up in a big way. I mean, he lost his debut to Zach Freeman. It was in Madison Square Garden, Bellator's biggest card of all time at that point. I mean, huge card, a lot of looks for your debut in Madison Square Garden. Lost that. It was a tough fight too. 8-2 Zach Freeman. So lost his debut, but since then he knocked out 3 guys in a row. Now the 3 guys he knocked out, they weren't cans. They didn't have losing records, but they were also not former title challengers in any division. You know, maybe even making their Bellator debut. So Leandro Higo, he's little pit bull coming up from bantamweight. He just fought Darion Caldwell in his last fight, the bantamweight champion. So former bantamweight title challenger Leandro Higo, they turned up the competition level, and Aaron Pico passed the test with flying colors. First round knockout. It wasn't with his famous body shot, but he still got the job done. Super impressed by Aaron Pico. What did you think about that fight last night?
Man, that fight right there, man. I mean, you could just see it from the minute that, you know, from the minute the fight started. Like, I mean, Pico was just on him. He was on him, you know, and Higo, you know, he was trying to keep the distance, trying to keep Pico away from him. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Pico the pressure was too much for him, man. Like, when he started putting that heavy pressure on him and throwing punches at the same time, he just couldn't handle it, man. And that dude throws with a lot of power for that weight class. He throws with a lot of power.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a super talented wrestler, former Golden Gloves boxer. So, I mean, just with his history in what wrestling normally got, or his experience in wrestling, most guys that come from the wrestling background, they have a lot more experience cutting weight. So, I mean, he's big for the featherweight division, and so that showed last night. He was huge, and he's very fucking talented. Got a lot of, I mean, he's being billed as arguably the greatest, and not even arguably. Like, before his debut, there's an article on ESPN that said Aaron Pico might be the greatest prospect in MMA history. And in his last 4 fights, man, just 4 first-round knockouts in a row. He's been looking insane. And I think his next fight, I think maybe get him a guy that's a step up in competition, like a top featherweight now. Like, Leandro Higo stepped up from bantamweight and took on this matchup. I kind of like that matchmaking because, you know, even though it's a step up in competition, Pico's got a little bit of a size advantage. So it's not like you're feeding him to a wolf. You are, but he's still got his own advantages. So he was able to get the job done. But now I think we see him fight 1 or 2 guys before potentially becoming Bellator's youngest fucking featherweight champion of all time. I wanted to look this up before. What age did John Jones win the title? I'll look that up, or I'll see if somebody in the chat knows. We can do like some mini trivia.
I think it may have been 20. It was either 22 or 23.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. What age did John Jones win UFC title? All right, because 23. Okay, 23. Now, how old is Aaron Pico? Now, he's going to be a Bellator champion, so it's still different. But either way, man, he's young, and he's got the skills. I mean, 4 first-round knockouts in a row. Great wrestling, great boxing, and he's just been training with great guys all around. I mean, you hear guys that he trains with. I believe he's trained with, like, TJ Dillashaw and other guys, and he just fucking, he's a killer, man. He's a killer.
Yeah, he trains with Dillashaw.
Aaron Pico age. So John Jones won the title. He's 22. So I mean, he might tie John Jones if he don't win it this year. Yeah, he probably won't. I don't think he'll be able to win it this year. But either way, man, and it's in Bellator. I'm just saying that's the type of stuff we're talking about with Aaron Pico. Very young in his career, but very talented. So we'll see what he can do. He beat up little Higo last night. You know, little Pitbull. But now he might potentially have picked the fight with. I think I saw after the fight he was having some words with Patricio Pitbull. So we'll see what happens next for Aaron Pico. But super impressive performance. And with that being said, what fight did you want to talk about from Bellator 206? Was it the Melendez versus Zimmerman fight, or was it?
Oh my gosh, yes, it was the Melendez Zimmerman fight.
Okay,
man, with that fight right there, man, you know, and hats off to Carrie Melendez. She fought a great fight against an opponent like Zimmerman. Zimmerman, I gained a lot of respect for Zimmerman last night, and this is why. She's making her UFC, her Bellator debut and her professional debut at the same time. And she went, well, from what I could see, she went in there and gave everything she had against Kerry Melendez. And you can obviously tell that Zimmerman is very green. And I've actually went and watched some of her fights, her previous fights before Bellator, and before her, apparently she's had a 2-year break from fighting, and before the 2-year break, man, she was a little more aggressive than what she is now, but still, based off that performance last night with a little polishing and some good training and a lot of good, she's a good striking coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Zimmerman is going to be she's.
Oh, did you cut out? Might have lost BJ Johnson for a second. He's cut in and out. So, yeah, he cut out. But, yeah, man, Kerry Taylor Melendez versus Dakota Zimmerman. Kerry Melendez, I mean, she was a big favorite in that fight, but it ended up being a split decision. She squeaked out the win. Kerry Melendez, I mean, she's got experience as a Muay Thai fighter, a kickboxer, and even had more experience as an MMA fighter, and she's been more active, as No Filter was pointing out. Dakota Zimmerman took the last 2 years off, but before that, she was 2-0 as an amateur. And with that being said, Dakota Zimmerman looked amazing against somebody that was supposed to come in there and steamroll her. And Dakota Zimmerman is very young. She's only like 22 years old, maybe. And that was a split decision loss to Kerry Melendez, a very talented striker. So I completely agree with No Filter MMA there, saying a striking coach, because, I mean, her ground game, she almost had that submission, a triangle choke, and then a triangle armbar at the end of the Kerry Melendez. She, like, the last 90 seconds was in trouble of that first round.
Yeah. She was in deep trouble. That armbar was deep. But for Zimmerman to come in and put that much pressure on Kerry Melendez. I mean, Kerry Melendez she's really got some good takedown and submission defense, and she's got some really good striking offense, because Zimmerman was bringing the heat to Kerry Melendez last night, and that was like I said, man, that was some heavy pressure, and like I said, with some polishing and some good striking coach, man. And one thing about Zimmerman too, she had a few openings that she did not capitalize on, and that's just probably just lack of experience. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, with some polishing, man, she's gonna be a threat to anybody in that division.
Yeah, man, looking forward to her next fight for sure. She lost, but I think her stock definitely still went up because there was a huge spotlight on that card. It was a big opportunity, and she got that split. It was a loss, but it was a split decision loss, and people know how she's coming, I think, after that fight. There was a lot of eyes on that fight. So, with that being said, I see the chat. I've seen multiple people say it now. Nobody cares about Bellator. Let's talk about UFC 229. Hey, Bellator is lit. Bellator is lit, but the chat is over. We're done talking about Bellator 206. It was a fucking amazing card. And if you weren't watching Bellator last night, if you didn't care about this card, I got a question. I got to question your status as an MMA fan. But I hear you. You might be more casual, and it is what it is. You might only care about the big fights, but goddamn, there's a lot of them at UFC 229. We got Khabib Nurmagomedov, Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, OSP Dominic Reyes, Derek Lewis versus Alexander Volkov, Michelle Watterson, Felice Herrig. No longer O'Malley versus Quinonez. That fight's not happening anymore. Maybe Quinonez can get a replacement opponent. I'm sure there were a lot of people, I would imagine, that were training just in case Sean O'Malley's opponent fell out. Like, I'll fight O'Malley. They want to fuck the clout, clout chase a little bit. They want to steal that clout. But it is what it is. Maybe we'll see if they're ready to step in against Quinonez, because Quinonez is still a good fighter on a 4-fight winning streak, and I'd still like to see him fight. So Pettis versus Formiga, both Pettis brothers on the same card. Sergio on the undercard, taking on Jussier Formiga. And I'll tell you, if Henry Cejudo does not fight TJ Dillashaw next, Henry Cejudo is likely going to be fighting the winner of this fight. This is the #1 contender match, and that's, of course, with Demetrius Johnson injured. Demetrius Johnson deserves that immediate rematch over any of these fights we could talk about, but he's injured, and he said himself, he probably is going to be fighting again, because I'm not fighting until I'm 100%. So DJ's going to be out for a while, and with that being said, Pettis and Formiga, these guys are at the top of the division. Pettis, I'm ready to break that fight down. I'm big on that fight. But we got a lot of fights on the card. So with that being said, we'll of course start off with Khabib versus McGregor. And I see my boy Joseph Reardon just says Conor McGregor did an interview with the Mac Life. He's looking ready. I'm gonna have to check that out after this. So yeah, with that being said, Khabib versus McGregor, no filter MMA. I need you to break it down. How do you see this fight going?
Well, first off, man, I don't know what's wrong with my hangouts. It's cutting in and out. So
It's
if
all
it cuts
good.
off, if it cuts off, I'm gonna jump back in. Khabib versus Conor. Wow. I just don't see. I don't see a way that Conor can beat Khabib. I mean, people are saying, the knockout, his left hand. I mean, his left hand is good, but Khabib can take a punch. I just see Khabib with the pressure, man. I see him wrapping up Conor's legs, dragging him down, and beating him. That's just what I see, man. And because when I go back and look at the Nate Diaz fight, I'm like, man, Khabib can take him down easy, man. If Nate Diaz was able to get him down like that, Khabib can take him down pretty easy. And he's going to beat Conor up. I'm sorry, man. That's just how I think.
Now, okay, I hear you, but I think you are counting McGregor out. I hear where you're coming from. I hear where you're coming from. But Conor McGregor is not like anybody that Khabib has ever fought to date. I mean, Khabib's best opponent was Rafael Dos Anjos, and that was a little bit in the past. Now, No Filter just dropped out of the call, so he needs to hear this. So I'm actually going to wait for him to come back because I feel like he's sleep on McGregor. But hey, it is what it is. This is all right. No Filter, you're back. Okay, I had to wait for you to get back because I feel like you need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Because Conor McGregor, I feel like you're counting him out. No, but Conor McGregor is definitely not like anybody Khabib has fought in the past, even recently. I'll say recently. You can look at Rafael Dos Anjos and make your argument. But when you talk about Michael Johnson, who is, I believe, 1 or 2-4 in his last 5 or 6, like, hasn't been looking amazing. But when you talk about Michael Johnson, Edson Barboza, when you talk about Al Iaquinta, none of those guys are in comparison to Conor McGregor. I mean, it just Conor McGregor, the fucking champ, and I think Conor McGregor's grappling is really underrated. He's a brown belt, and on top of that, he's shown some solid takedown defense in the past, and even in the fight against Chad Mendes when he was in trouble. And by the way, Conor took that fight on short notice. People pointed at the Mendes fight and they said, "Oh, look, Conor McGregor can't stop a takedown." Well, people don't take into consideration he was preparing for Jose Aldo, one of the best strikers and featherweights in the world, and on short notice, Conor McGregor was willing to accept the fight with a wrestler, completely different style. I mean, we heard Tyron Woodley recently say, "I'm not going from fighting a fucking 6'4" striker to KAMARU Usman on 24 hours notice because that's not who I've been preparing for." And McGregor kind of did that when he took Mendes on short notice, and so even though he got taken down and kind of pummeled in that fight a little bit, I think his takedown defense is way better than he showed in that fight. And Nate Diaz also, I think he's going to be bigger. He was bigger at 170 than Khabib will be in this fight. And the level of competition, as I pointed out earlier, I don't think he's fought anyone like Conor McGregor anytime soon. And yeah, he might have the wrestling advantage. I'll give you that. I do think Khabib's the better grappler out of the two. And it could be a bad night for McGregor, but as far as not really seeing a way McGregor can win, I've seen multiple ways I think McGregor can win. I mean, Khabib Nurmagomedov can come into this fight. I mean, just for the fact, we'll just talk about the fight. I mean, we've seen holes in this striking game. Those have been pointed out, time and time. He's been clipped by Michael Johnson, and for one, like I said earlier, if you get clipped by Michael Johnson, that's different than getting clipped by Conor McGregor. He's Conor McGregor. You don't want to play with that. You might have survived Michael Johnson, but you don't want to take one of those from Conor McGregor. Fuck around and get rocked, and we know that can happen. We know McGregor can do that, and that's just in the fight. But also, Khabib Nurmagomedov, when he dives for some of his singles on some of his fights, when he doesn't get it, like we saw in the Iaquinta fight, it was later in the fight, of course, there was some sweat, so he was able to slip his leg out of those takedowns. But when he was doing that, I mean, he turned his back and kind of went away from Khabib to kind of get back in a striking range. But Conor McGregor might fuck around when you're in on a single, you're kind of exposed there. Conor McGregor will start fucking clipping you right there. I think that's another something we could see from Conor McGregor. But then on top of that, Khabib Nurmagomedov is coming into this fight emotional. A lot of people feel like Conor McGregor hasn't got to Khabib. I don't think they know what's going on here, because Khabib Nurmagomedov is talking about, he's letting you know, oh, I'm not going to finish this guy. I want to smash him. I'm going to let him, you know, he wants to drag him and punish him through 5 rounds. And when you
But
do
he's
that,
capable of that.
yeah, he
He's
is
completely
capable of that. But
He's capable of that.
he's for
And
sure
that's very
capable of that.
possible.
He's probably even got the better cardio for that. But what you do when you do that is you're giving Conor McGregor 5 opportunities to stand up. Every round starts on the feet. So if you don't want to finish him in the first round, okay, well, now you're going to let him stand up in the second round. So you better hope you can take him down again. And yeah, I'm sure you can. He is capable of that, but that's playing a dangerous game, letting McGregor stand up 4 times just because you want to drag him out. Like, so I think you should take the safe route, and Khabib's coach has said he doesn't think Khabib will. The safe route, what Khabib's coach wants to happen, he wants him to take McGregor down and finish him as soon as possible and get this fight out of the way and finish it. He doesn't want him to go out there and try and teach McGregor a lesson and let him stand up 4 separate times. But Khabib wants to punish McGregor, and so I think that's a dangerous game as well. So I don't think you should really count out McGregor, but hey, I hear you. There's a real possibility that Khabib comes in here and takes this guy down and smashes him and just changes the face of MMA, like literally, like that's a chance. That would be crazy.
Well, this is another reason why I say Khabib is activity. You know, Conor's been gone for 2 years. You know, Conor doesn't he hasn't been hit by an MMA glove in a real fight in a long time. You know, and that's one thing that gets me is just, you know, the ring rust, because it's gonna be there.
Yeah, I don't think Khabib's gonna really be tagging him with the MMA gloves too much. You know what I'm saying? Trying to strike with them, but he could. That's another thing. And No Filter dropped out. He'll be right back. But what I was saying is, I mean, yeah, that is true. There's a ring rust aspect, but I think McGregor's been training really hard coming into this fight. I would imagine, like, as far as ring rust, and there's an argument whether or not ring rust exists, but that's still a good point. So. To what you were saying, though, as far as the ring rust, though, yeah, that's a good point. But what I was saying is, I don't think Khabib's really going to be the guy testing out Conor's chin with the MMA gloves. I mean, that is, yeah, he hasn't been in a real fight with MMA gloves in a while. But with that being said, I don't think this is the matchup where that's really going to be a problem. Now, if McGregor was coming back and fighting, I don't know, like a fucking, maybe even a Kevin Lee or a Eddie Alvarez, Tony Ferguson, anybody else. Khabib, though, if Khabib's going to win, I think we expect him to take McGregor down. And so also Conor's probably been training, you know, for this fight and kind of shaking off that ring rust. So, I mean, that's a good point, but I don't think that'll be big of an issue personally. I think this is a really close fight. But it could go, this is the thing, as hard as this fight is to call for me, it could go really bad for either guy. Conor McGregor can get taken down and fucking pummeled and embarrassed. Khabib can get knocked out, and Conor McGregor can shake off a single leg attempt and knock out Khabib and completely embarrass him. Like, either one of these guys can come out here and look terrible. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a better chance than this being a super competitive fight. I don't see Conor McGregor beating Khabib up over 25 rounds. I'll give you, or over 25 minutes. I'll give you that. I don't see that. That's a question. We don't know where McGregor's cardio is. All we can do is hope with this McGregor fast cardio and his boxing practice and training. His cardio's been getting better and better and better. All we can do is hope, but we haven't really seen Conor McGregor last 25 minutes in an MMA fight and not look somewhat gassed. So that's an edge for Khabib as well.
And one thing I think when it comes to Khabib versus Conor, I believe a lot of people underestimate Khabib's hands, because Khabib throws with some power. You know, and Khabib may not be as technical of a striker as Conor, but
I was about to say, don't try.
I wouldn't. No. I'm not saying Khabib is a world class striker. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. I was saying, like, I hope Khabib don't come out here and even try and showcase any striking, man. That does not need to be his plan. Don't try and prove you're a better striker than we think. Do not try and beat McGregor at his own game.
That's true. That's true. I understand. I get that point. But Khabib could. I mean, he could clip him. You know, you gotta throw that. You gotta keep that in there. You know what I'm saying? Khabib could clip Conor, and we all know. We all see what happens when Conor gets
No, I'm just kidding. I saw that in the chat. Mario Yamasaki. Everly says, we only saw Khabib go 25 minutes. Once says ever 79. But yeah, when he went 25 minutes, he wasn't like looking gassed. And throughout the fight, he wasn't like taking huge deep breaths. You never looked at Khabib like, oh shit, his cardio is what's going on? Like in those 25 minutes, I've never seen a reason to really question Khabib's cardio personally. Gary Kendrick Jr. says, I'm only a street fighter, but Tyron said there's no such thing as ring rust. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that in the past as well. We've seen guys lose coming off, but we've also seen fighters win coming off of fucking 4-year layoffs. That girl last night who fought Kerry Melendez, she was coming off of a 2-year layoff. Dakota Zimmerman, she was coming off of a 2-year layoff. I mean, I'm sure she's been training, but as far as the actual fight, she looked great. But I mean, you know, it was really trying to pull guard, and she was really looking good with her grappling. But I mean, yeah, there's definitely that argument to be had. Is there ring rust? That could come into play, but I would assume McGregor's probably going to be training pretty fucking hard, and he's probably getting in some good spars. And the good thing is, I think McGregor can kind of go 100% when he spars with his partners because they're not going to knock him out. He's not sparring with guys that it doesn't seem like that are on his level, right? When he spars with Artem Lobov and some of these other guys, like you can go 100% with them, right? I mean, so I think that's gonna shake off some of your ring rust. But yeah, man, no, you make good points, and that could very well happen. But I definitely give McGregor a good chance to win. I wouldn't say I can't count him all the way out, but I mean, if Khabib comes out here and mauls him, that's a real possibility. So I see where you're coming from. Stamina MC says, email him and you'll get sent back a link. GK, yeah, if anybody wants sent on the link, just email me. And if you need my email, let me know. Email me and I'll reply to the email and I'll send you the link in that reply. So, yeah, just let me know if you want to hop on the panel and break down McGregor versus Khabib or any of these other fights we're about to talk about at UFC 229. And I know somebody said, I think it was Gary, he said, I want to hop on the panel, but he can't miss the fights. I just got a message from Now and Later. That's for the simp segment. Holy shit. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so like this is, I was like, whoa, like I almost like I see what it is. I'm like, whoa, shit, like what just came in my email? Full uncut video available upon request. What the fuck? Okay, brother, I'll have to check that out later. But with that being said, yeah, email me if you want to hop on the panel, man. We got the co-main event, Ferguson versus Pettis. Break that down for us, No Filter MMA.
Oh, Ferguson versus. I'm sorry, man. I gotta go with Tony Ferguson because I just believe that Tony Ferguson is just hungry. He's hungry. By the way, I had to log in for my personal email, man. My podcast email is tripping. But yeah, man. Okay, what's up, I just think Tony Ferguson is just too. I just think he's just too amped and too ready. You know, especially with that setback, with that injury, man. I just believe he's chomping at the bit to get in there, and I think he's gonna make quick work of Pettis. Now, he shouldn't sleep on Pettis.
For sure.
You definitely can't. You definitely can't sleep on Pettis. No. But I just think Tony Ferguson is too seasoned and too well round for Anthony Pettis. I think this is Anthony Pettis' fight to lose.
Man, or you mean Tony Ferguson's fight to lose? But I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I agree, man. I feel like Tony Ferguson. I feel like Tony Ferguson is such a talented fighter, but I am so fucking skeptical of this fight. If Tony Ferguson wasn't coming off of tripping off that cord and breaking his fucking leg, and okay, he didn't break it. I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but you get it. It looked pretty bad through the recovery process. He got a pretty deep. He had a pretty crazy scar from surgery. When that shit was, he recovered really fast. But the fact that he recovered fast, I mean, you can either contribute that to his work ethic. We know Tony Ferguson, he's one of the hardest workers in the sport. I don't give a fuck what nobody's talking about. He has unorthodox training. He might be standing on one foot on a balance beam and hitting whatever he's doing, he's working fucking hard every time you see him. He has unorthodox training, but he's a hard worker, and I imagine he would apply that to recovery, and that is probably why he's back so fast. But with that being said, like you said, you cannot sleep on Pettis on the ground or standing up. And standing up, that low leg kick might be a problem. I could see Anthony Pettis looking at that as way to win this fight. Everyone's counting Anthony Pettis out. I'm coming in here, and I'm sorry. This is a huge opportunity. We're the co-main event to McGregor versus Khabib. I gotta win this fight. I'm one fucking. If Pettis can win this fight, he immediately jumps into this lightweight title picture, fucking out of nowhere.
Yeah, he does.
And so he's probably gonna come out here and not to be a dick, not to be evil, but he's probably gonna be throwing kicks at that leg. And then on the ground, we just saw him put Michael Chiesa in a fucking triangle armbar. Tony Ferguson's got amazing jiu-jitsu, but Anthony Pettis can submit you if you got good jiu-jitsu. We saw that. So, I feel like this is Tony Ferguson's fight to lose, but, man, who knows? Anthony Pettis might come in here and fight with his back against the wall. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? He's got nothing to lose in this fight. You lose, oh, well, you lost. People really expected that. And if you win, you got everything to gain. So, come in here, might target that leg, and then even when they're rolling, if the fight goes to the mat, I mean, Pettis is dangerous. But Ferguson is dangerous everywhere. 11-fight win streak, 10-fight win streak, should be the interim champion. And, oh, by the way, this is some bullshit. You guys remember, and Dana White said this, oh, yeah, you know, Conor's going to be stripped the minute a punch is thrown in Iaquinta versus Khabib. So he got stripped, but at the same time, so did Tony Ferguson. And Tony Ferguson had just won that interim title not too long ago. But now, let's fast forward, almost the same scenario. Darren Till and Tyron Woodley fight, and Dana White, I believe, said the same words. Whenever a punch is thrown, Colby gets stripped. Guess what? Colby didn't get stripped. So here's my question. Why the fuck did Ferguson get stripped if Colby didn't get stripped? That might be another topic for another day. That's some baby back bagel biting.
So is Colby is Colby still technically the interim champion?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And Ferguson got stripped. And that's some BS. I'm going to yep, right here. I'm on UFC.com. Colby Covington, interim champion, and we're way past the fight now. Still the interim champ. And now it's probably some political business bullshit, but what the fuck? That's not on Tony Ferguson. Like, I guess, you know, because if Ferguson doesn't get stripped and he's the interim champion, well, whenever McGregor gets stripped, what happens is Ferguson would have became the undisputed champion, and Khabib and Iaquinta would have been fighting for an interim title. And that would have completely fucked up any chance of McGregor and Khabib. So maybe it's political reasons or whatever, but behind the scenes, but that's bullshit if you're Tony Ferguson. I got stripped. Covington didn't. What's the difference in the situation? But Covington, you know, it's not like for Colby Covington, he's the #1 contender still. You know, they're not really trying to skip him. They want him to have that fight and him being the champion. I mean, but either way, you can give Colby Covington the next fight even as the #1 contender. Strip him of that motherfucking belt. What's the difference? A lot of people
there's not much going on in welterweight right now. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's not a lot going on in welterweight. It's not as low.
Almost everybody.
So just
with Tyron beating Darren Till, man, that just kind of deadened because everybody, you know, I think it would have lit the welterweight division on fire if Till would have beat Woodley, but with Woodley just neutralizing him like that, man, it just kind of silenced everything, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, and so. Not stripping Colby, but hey, man, it is what it is. And like Infamous said, and speaking of, salute to Infamous. Thanks for joining the panel. We also got Benji on here. He'll probably hop on soon. But with that being said, yeah, so Colby's still the interim champ, and Ferguson's going to be fighting Pettis, UFC 229 co-main event. Infamous, what do you think about that fight?
I think it's really interesting considering, like, because, like, I know Pettis, he likes his matchup because he's seen, like, some tendencies in Ferguson's game that could let him, you know, kick him in the head, because Ferguson has like a tendency of like dipping when he strikes. You know, he does a lot of weird shit. He'll dip down and all that. And he got caught with a head kick against Lando Venata. He got caught with a head kick against Kevin Lee, and Pettis probably has better kicks than both of those guys. So he's kind of banking on fighting Ferguson in the middle of the octagon and trying to exploit that little tendency he has. But as long as Ferguson's pushing forward and he's breaking his rhythm, doing the weird shit he's always doing, he should win this fight, in my opinion.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
But like Pettis is probably like the only top guy that Pettis could probably beat. I mean, like Pettis has a chance against Ferguson because he's coming back off injury and like Ferguson.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You mean like Tony Ferguson is like the best matchup I think for Anthony Pettis in the top 5. Yeah, because
Pettis has a really bad matchup with Barbosa and. So the guys who can wrestle,
guys, like even like the Kevin Lees and then the Eddie Alvarez, like
Eddie Alvarez, Iaquinta, guys who could take him down.
Not great matchups for Pettis. So I hear
even
what you're
Tony
saying.
Does have good wrestling. Tony does have good wrestling, so he could take down Pettis if he wants to, but it's just we haven't seen him do that in so long. And if you don't train something, you lose it. You know, it doesn't.
You know, use it or lose it.
That shit don't stay. That shit don't stay. So, yeah, I still got Ferguson though. Ferguson all day.
Okay, I hear you. All right, so we got Ovin St. Preux. Well, actually, what are your thoughts on Khabib and McGregor? You want to break that down real quick, Infamous, now that you're on the panel before we move on? I'm sure people want to hear your thoughts on that.
Man, this fight, man. I cannot wait for this fight. Honestly, I think Conor's going to just punish Khabib this fight. I really do. I feel like you break down this fight, it's like you look at the skill. I feel like we always look at the skill-wise, strength, like the mental warfare, all that bullshit. But I just think Conor's style, like to beat somebody like Khabib, I feel like you need to have like some knockout power. You need to be quick on your feet. You need to be like a lot of things that Conor has to beat somebody like Khabib. You know, I don't think Khabib's chin's been like tested for real, like not like a shot like through his chin. Like he's been hit like clean but straight on. Like he hasn't been hit by a shot that goes through his chin. When Conor like lines them up like that, because that's what Conor's good at doing. He places some shots good so it goes through the chin. So there's a higher chance of getting the knockout. When you get hit by something like that, I want to see how it reacts. Because Johnson hit him with a lot of straight-on shots, which he's good at taking. He's good at taking them straight-on shots. You get hit by something that whips around your chin like that, let's see how he takes that shot like that. I feel like we'll find out pretty soon how the fight's going to go. Like, if Conor hits this guy and Khabib's like, oh, shit, I can't be coming forward like that, ooh, that's going to be a very, very bad for Khabib. If Khabib gets hit and he, you know, it doesn't affect him much, then that might be a bad night for Conor if Conor can't pivot with his footwork, which he could. But with Khabib coming forward like that, eventually he will get him his legs.
All right. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on this because this is what I'm thinking about. I feel like there's a better chance that this fight, somebody gets, I don't want to say exposed, somebody gets dominated. Like either Khabib dominates Conor McGregor or Conor McGregor just flattens Khabib. I feel like there's a better chance somebody just gets fucking finished or dominated, decisively beat. I feel like there's a better chance of that than us even seeing, like, what do you think, like a classic fight, like a back and forth, like maybe we could, maybe like kind of like Mendes versus McGregor, maybe he gets taken down a couple of times and then comes back through the fire and fucking knocks him out. But I almost feel like there's a better chance that this fight is decisive. Either way, it could be either McGregor winning decisively, fucking knocking him out, stuffing a couple takedowns, and just letting everybody know, yo, the king is back. Give me my belt. Y'all thought that like it would be crazy, or like BJ was saying earlier, No Filter MMA. He was saying he didn't see McGregor having much of a chance, and I mean, if Khabib comes out here and dominates, that's a very real possibility. So I don't know.
Hey, and I'll applaud anybody who feels that way if that happens. Like, I don't mind coming back here and telling everybody they were right, but I just can't see that happening.
Okay, Steven MC says nobody cares. This is off topic as fuck. Gary Kendrick says somebody from that name donated 20 to full time, told us to kick back. No. That DC dude, I mean, it's just people were just having fun, you know, with the wrenches one day. You know, it wasn't like that, but it was someone. He was maybe trolling a moderator, and you know, it wasn't like he was coming in here advertising any other channels. He was talking MMA at some point as well, but people were just having fun and starting to, yeah, it wasn't about that. Benji says, I thought Aldo was going to be back and forth and competitive. Mendes did the best against Conor. Well, yeah, aside from Diaz, but yeah, Mendes, he had Conor in fucking trouble, dog.
Yeah. I feel like people, like, they're just holding on to that Mendes fight. Like, if Conor's ground game is a lot better than what people think, and you're hoping for Conor to get tired or have no ground game, you might be very, very surprised if he doesn't gas out like he's has in the past, and his ground game's a lot better.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's a big if. That's a huge.
I don't know if that's a big if, because say what you gonna say. Go ahead.
But he's not fighting Chad Mendes. He's fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's a huge difference in competition.
Chad has some very high credentials in wrestling too, though.
He does. But is Chad 26-0 though?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, and I'm just saying, you know, I mean, Khabib is he's not your average animal. He's just not. He's a different type of animal.
I mean, I just don't see anything that special. But if he proves me wrong, like I said, I will come back here and tell you that you were right and you knew what you were talking about.
Same here, man. I'll do the same thing.
Yeah,
Respect.
hey, somebody that's how it's gonna be. Like that's how I feel it
Mm-hmm.
is. Like one way or the other. Like somebody's people.
Oh
There's gonna be a lot
man.
of people eating crow whichever way
Oh,
this
I feel
fight
like
goes.
especially the loser of this Khabib, whoever loses that fight, they really cannot talk. Like period. Like I don't want to hear no excuses. Even if Conor loses, I want to hear no
And hey,
excuses
you
to the
guys,
loser
I
of this
don't.
fight.
As far as that complex multiplexing guy, I don't. Yeah, no, he seemed like he's been a little trolly the whole time. Yeah, he send his ass out here for 300 seconds. That wasn't the dude I was talking about that day. I was talking about like that Daniel Cormier double champ dude. He was a dude that came in and was supporting the channel, and it didn't seem like he did anything ban-worthy that day. But this complex multiplexing dude, he's been a little trolly the whole time, and it looked like from some of the things I just
I
saw
mean, he doesn't
talking
get me
about.
really mad. I just laugh him off
Yeah,
because like
he was
he's
saying something about
clearly
slapping
trolling. Like
Stamina
he's not
MC
saying
with his
anything
genitalia. So yeah,
stupid.
that definitely deserves getting slapped with the wrench. Can't be talking to no motherfucking mod like that. Are you crazy? Kim Jong Uzi says Khabib time. That's the fight game. Joseph Reardon says shots fired. Says unemployed Mario Yamasaki. All Pro Limited says Khabib can't box. Logan Paul has better hands. Chill.
Dude, Khabib in his recent interview had like cuts and bruises all over his face, and I'm like, man,
Damn.
if they touching you like that in sparring, imagine what Conor would do to this
Yeah,
man.
that's not a good look, man. I
He
can't wait
had
to just
he
sit
had
down. And
bruises
man, I
all
got
over
work
his
this
face,
whole
man.
week. After I
I was
finish,
like, wow.
I'm just gonna be watching all the interviews, everything leading up to this fight. You guys realize it's less than a week away, right? Like it's Sunday, so it's
Oh,
less than 7
crazy.
days. UFC 229. What the
Be
fuck?
hella drunk in
And I
this
saw my
fight.
boy Harvey Weinstein in here earlier. I scrolled up and it said, "What did Sugar Shane get popped for? Was it weed? I believe. No, it's a contaminated supplement. I'm telling you right now, my boy's motherfucking innocent. Free O'Malley contaminated
Free Sugar
supplement.
Sean.
Hashtag free O'Malley. I don't know, man. This is another situation, and you know what? I'm not even gonna go off, because we're gonna USADA. They just changed their policy. They don't flag people all the way, but either way, if you just get randomly pulled off of a fight and there's no report of an injury, people are gonna now be like, "Oh, he got a USADA violation," but nobody's talking about it. But I guess people can come out and say, "Oh, it was personal issues," and USADA's not gonna come out and deny it. But Sean O'Malley got in front of it, came out, took to his Instagram. So check that if you guys haven't yet. Check Sean O'Malley's Instagram. He posted the statement, got in front of it. Hey, guys, we got an idea of this supplement. We're already sending it to him, and we'll see if that's what it is. But I had to make the joke earlier if you guys weren't here. This explains him punching harder than Tyron Woodley. That's a joke. That's a joke. You guys remember that punching machine? That's a joke. That's a joke.
Oh yeah.
It's probably more of a leverage thing since like
Yeah,
he's taller and he
somebody
can
said
position
that
himself better.
they fucking shot it multiple times. I don't know. They shot it multiple times, like, and Tyron Woodley maybe it was just his first punch. So yeah, that's a joke. But yeah, hashtag free O'Malley. This is actually a great matchup, guys. Says Gary Kendrick Jr. Gary, send me an email, bro. I think said and I know you said you're watching the game too, but I seen you said you really wanted to hop on the panel. If you do, send me an email and I'll get you in here. He said, I told full time I woke up this Saturday thinking it was good Khabib time. I have to wait. And you guys, you know what this O'Malley, this whole little thing is? This is our sacrifice to the MMA gods. And I said this early on. I said, as long as it's not McGregor versus Khabib, I don't want to lose any of these fights. It sucks to see Sean O'Malley and Quinonez off of this card. Yep. And I really hate that he's going through USADA violation, but he's going to get proven innocent. And this is all going to be bullshit. And that's just going to give him even more time to train for this motherfucking fight and get 100% healthy, which is even better for me. So let's motherfucking go. So I wanted to see the fight. I would have loved it. But at the same time, we got a fight card, guys. I don't think any of these other fights are falling off. A lot of and I'm crossing my fingers.
Lose every other fight as long as
it's not McGregor and Khabib.
I'm good.
Fuck around and have a one-fight card. Like,
I don't give a
shit,
fuck.
guys, the UFC fighter. No, I'm not gonna say anything crazy. I'm just saying 13 fights got canceled, but McGregor versus Khabib's still
don't
here.
Say that. Don't say that because I'm looking forward to the Evander Ladd and the Kunitskaya Landsberg fight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, damn! I noticed I have to point out you left off Waterson Herrig. I mean, out of the WMMA fights, you're not as excited for Waterson?
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely want to see that too. Oh, absolutely.
Joseph Reardon says, "Are you hungover full time?" Fool, no, I don't get hungover. No, yeah. So that another good review for Proper 12 over here. That hit piece was hilarious. They were shitting on it, but no, I didn't have no hangover today.
Ivan Eagle says, he says, bruh, really, he says, I hope people drop off. I hate stand up till 2 a.m. for Conor.
That's fucking funny. Ivan Ika says, bro, it's really fight week for Conor Khabib. Hashtag blessed. Yes, it is, man. We got less than 7 days. I'm going to switch over here real
Yo, full
fast just so you
time.
guys
Can I
can
ask you a
see
question,
the
man?
timer. Yeah, what's up, Infamous?
Yo, how do you feel about the like this John Jones and DC going at it again? But like, let me give you my opinion on. I feel like John's trying to get a fight with DC because he feels like it's an easier matchup than the Gustafsson fight, and there's more money in the DC fight too. So he doesn't have much of incentive to want to have that Gustafsson fight, especially he's coming back after a long layoff too. Like
Yeah.
Gustafsson might be able to upset this dude. Like he has the range, like because like John, he always has the luxury of having like a range to work with because he's so long. But like with Gustafsson, he doesn't have that, you know. So he has to be on point with Gustafsson.
No,
you know?
yeah,
He can't just.
that's a great point. And,
Yeah, I
and
feel
it's
like
the same thing with DC though. Like because DC, he is like, fuck that. I want to fight Brock first. You know, so it's like
I'm not mad at DC. I mean,
but it's like
take
it
care
goes
of that.
both ways with Jones and DC. Like,
Yeah.
like to what you're saying, like it could be that John Jones doesn't want the matchup where because both of these guys have already fought. Daniel Cormier's fought John Jones, and Jones has
To
fought
put it
Gus,
simple, DC more money, and John thinks of it as an easier matchup.
Yeah, more money, easier matchup, and that's
Yep.
both cases. I mean, John Jones, more money, easier matchup is DC.
And
DC, more money, easier
Brock
matchup
Lesnar.
is Brock Lesnar. So they're both like, fuck that. I'm on this. So, and honestly, that's probably why we're not going to see Jones versus Gustafsson at UFC 230. The only explanation is John Jones making the complication. Because Gustafsson was already down to fight. He called out John Jones. He was down to fight at Madison Square Garden. He's cleared in time. So the only hang-up is if John Jones doesn't want to fight at Madison Square Garden because he doesn't want that matchup. He doesn't want those problems with Gustafsson.
Yep.
Right.
Or else he would be fighting in the main event.
I really believe that. Like I really believe my little theory there.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, try and finagle your way into a DC fight, but this is the thing. If DC wants to wait on Brock, like you can't force his hand, so I don't know.
No, you cannot at all. DC, like if they try to force DC on that shit, dude, he could literally, like, people will be on his side because he's still the victim here. You know, he's still the guy that was cheated, and now you're gonna give him the Brock fight and then take it away just because it's the best fight to make right now.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah, fuck that.
That would be crazy.
But
Like, that would be
John
Jones
Jones
comes back off suspension. Fucking all right, DC. Sorry, bud. Like, yeah.
But as far as social media shade though, DC 1, John Jones 0.
Yeah, DC fired back, man. Yeah, and John Jones, I don't know if I'm kind of joking. I don't know if he was high when he decided. I'm joking. I don't know what he was on when he decided to fucking send that message. But dude, you are not in a position to be firing off on someone. You know, everyone in the comments is gonna be on there cheat and snitch, cheat, and then DC's got all the ammo to fire back too. Like John Jones is talking about. And that also goes to your theory too, Infamous MMA. He's like really trying to piss off DC on social media and talk this shit. Like, answer the phone. You know, the minute you answer the phone, the fucking reality, your fucking dream comes crashing down.
He ain't lying though.
But
he ain't lying.
He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying.
Nah, he's not lying.
Well. Maybe he doesn't believe it, but if John Jones comes back and looks like he did against OSP against DC, which is what I thought was going to happen in the rematch possibly, I don't think that John Jones beats DC. This is the thing, man. People still feel like John Jones can beat Daniel Cormier or he'll beat him. I don't want to point out the fucking obvious, but we don't 100% know if John Jones can beat DC clean. The first fight was before USADA. The second fight, he failed a drug test. The only time after USADA John Jones didn't fail a test was when he fought OSP, and everyone talks about how bad he looked in that fight.
Man, like, the thing with me with that fight, it makes it so hard for DC to win it, in my opinion. Like, even if Jones looks worse, I feel like because Jones attacks the body, he kicks the body, he kicks the legs, he kicks the head. He's just gonna outwork DC, in my opinion, unless DC, hurts. Because
Yeah.
DC don't go to the body, even though he's smaller. Like, he does not go to the body. He doesn't kick John's legs because he doesn't want to get taken down. That's why I just find it so hard for DC to win that fight.
It's definitely a
John's
bad
has so
style
many
matchup.
weapons and on that range. Even though DC was landing good, even though he was doing good, he never outlanded John in any of those rounds. He never landed more punches or whatever strikes in any of the rounds. You could have gave him some of the rounds for the more effective striking, like if he landed cleaner punches and shit. But he never outlanded Jones in a round.
He was beating him up though.
Yeah, you're right. In the first round, at least.
All right, so with that being said, man, I know a lot of people, I've seen some people wanted to start off with this. What do you guys think about Volkov versus Lewis, the heavyweight matchup?
Oh.
You can start, no filter. I was going to call you BJ, no filter. You can start.
Man, I'm going to have to give it to Volkov. And I would usually go with Derek Lewis. But the reason I have to go with Volkov is just the way Derek Lewis looked in that Francis Ngannou fight. That back injury is really affecting Derek Lewis.
Yeah, man. And even before his fights, he'll come in, you know, and he'll be like I was listening, you know, it's always, his interviews are always fucking awesome on the MMA Hour or wherever he does them. So I was listening to his interview, and he was talking about before his last fight, how they were like putting shots of mercury in his back, and they would last like a week. And so, you know, they were good. He said, after they give me my shot, I'm good. And he was like, so I'll be good for the fight. Well, then after that lackluster, fucking boring, whatever you want to call that performance against Francis Ngannou, he was like, oh yeah, my back locked up. And it's like, well, damn, I thought we had that figured out. And so, and it's just been so persistent. You never know where his back's at. Now, what's crazy is what happens if Derek Lewis comes in here and they figured it out this time and he just fucking looks like a monster, like knocks out Volkov. That would be crazy, because Derek Lewis would be low-key looking at a title shot. He just beat the #1 contender. This is a tough fight, but I'm with you, though. I think Volkov wins this fight, man. He's so fucking talented. Undefeated in the UFC. Just finished Fabricio in the 4th round. KO, TKO. What do you think about this fight, though, infamous MMA? Lewis versus Volkov.
Yeah, I like Volkov, man. I like Volkov in this fight.
I'm going to pull up his full resume.
He knows how to fight tall.
The UFC, he had some impressive fights. Go ahead.
So, yeah, he knows how to, like, use his height, fight tall. Like his knees.
Him versus Stefan Struve, that was a fun matchup. Skyscraper versus fucking Skyscraper and shit. That was fun. But yeah, he won that fight third. He smoked Stefan Struve in that fight. He's really smoked everybody. I mean, Fabricio Verdun was his closest fight, but he finished it. So, I mean, before that, he wasn't fighting bad guys. He fought Timothy Johnson in his first fight. Then he beat Roy Nelson. Then Struve. Now Verdun. Now, he hasn't beat all the top killers, but he's got a good matchup, and like you said, he really knows how to use that height and his size. So, I think he can win this fight.
That's not something you see a lot too.
I got a question for you, Infamous. Who do you think? Okay, now Fabricio just failed a drug test, but who do you think would be a tougher matchup like today if Fabricio didn't fail a drug test? Fabricio or Derek Lewis?
For who?
For anybody. Who do you think's the better fight? Who should be higher ranked? Who's the better fighter? Derek Lewis or Fabricio? Like right now today, if they were to fight, who do you think would win?
Well, I mean,
so I'm asking that because I wonder, is this fight gonna be even tougher? I mean, he just finished Fabricio Verdun, so I feel like that win is almost more impressive than a win over Derek Lewis. Now, Derek Lewis is in the top of the division because he just beat Francis Ngannou, and you know his ability to come back in fights, even when he's down, he'll fuck around and finish you. So he goes on a winning streak, and so. But as far as skill is concerned, I feel like
I mean, Verdun is a lot higher than. But the thing with Lewis is like he hasn't. Well, I mean, as far as his striking isn't very like good in the technical sense. You know, he has a lot of power, and he's he'll throw like a lot of power at you like out of nowhere, and then he'll surprise you and shit. The thing with Lewis, he's kind of inconsistent too. Like sometimes he looks amazing in some of his fights. Other times he's just backing up, not doing much. You know,
because he got that nasty back injury though.
Yeah, exactly. But I heard I heard USADA's letting him take some shots for that.
Oh so. Yeah. He said a steroid. He said a steroid. He's like, some steroids. He's like, but it's USADA approved. So hopefully, that's what I was saying, bro.
That's not a big deal. Like,
what if he comes in here and looks better than we've ever? Hey, if he keeps coming in. fuck around and hide. I see you guys have to keep fucking banning this dude. So, do what you need to do, Stam. I see you got it on lock. He's smelling the stench of the wrench, but
Yo, this guy just commented on one of my videos. Like, he said, "Fuck you. That's you hate DC, you homo." I'm like, when have I ever said I hate
that's so funny.
Have I said that before?
Yo. But yeah, though, what if Derek Lewis comes in here and his back looks better than it ever has, and he's just like a new and improved Derek Lewis and just fucking fuck shit up? That's a possibility, but I'm just saying though,
I still lean toward Volkov.
I mean, if you're not sold on Volkov, like if you look into his fights before he was in the UFC, even when he was fighting in M1. He fought a couple fights in Bellator. Actually, he fought a few fights in Bellator. But in M1, even outside the UFC, the guys he were fighting were no scrubs. I mean, he fought this dude that was 31-8. He fought another guy who was 13-4. In Bellator, he lost a decision to Czech Congo about 3 years ago, and then a split decision to Tony Johnson. But I'd have to go back and watch his fight versus Czech Congo. But that was still years ago. He's now on a 6-fight win streak. But man, this is a great fight, and it's in the heavyweight division now. It's kind of hard to you know what I'm saying, because the old stigma is heavyweight fights don't blink, you know, and the heavyweight fights are the entertaining fights, but that's kind of been changing lately. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like with some of these heavyweight fights, they haven't been the most exciting, but I still think this is going to be a good fight. I think we're all giving the edge to Volkov, but I think it's fair to say maybe we're all rooting for Lewis. I don't know. I think that's fair to say.
What if USADA lets him take these steroids and then all of a sudden Derek come in the weigh-ins and he's shredded?
I mean, he can't be taking that much. Like,
yeah, you should let him do something for his back. But what if they're like, you know what, you got a fucked up back. We're gonna let him do everything. Let him turn into Super Derek Lewis. That would be fucking crazy. Super Derek Lewis. But yo, Volkov low-key actually has more fights than Lewis, but Lewis is his fucking UFC fight experience is underrated. He's got so many fights in the UFC for a heavyweight. There was some point he was fighting like 3 or 4 times a year as a heavyweight not too long ago. But look, just in the UFC, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I just fucked up the count. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 at Mark Hunt, 13, 14. 14 UFC fights in the last 4 years. So, I mean, he's fighting a little over 3 fights per year. He's super active as a heavyweight. So, he's just been picking up UFC experience. And what's crazy is in a lot of his fights, he's been down. You know, maybe he was losing. Maybe he wasn't the most technical fighter. And he'll fuck around and come back like Brian Ortega and knock you out at the end of the fight. So, Derek Lewis, man, fan favorite, fun guy, but got a super tough matchup here against Alexander Volkov. But another fight on the main card I do want to talk about a little bit. Ovince St. Preux, Dominic Reyes. I don't know why, and maybe one of you can explain it to me. I feel like everybody always underrates and counts out OSP. I think people, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like people will say, oh, he don't have a chin.
I get it.
Okay, now please break it down for me. But break it down for me.
The thing with OSP, he has really, really bad weaknesses to his game. Like in the center of the octagon, like he's tricky. You know, he does all this unorthodox stuff. But like when he gets backed up to that fence, man, he panics so much. He doesn't have much defense to him. His defense is kind of like his awkwardness. And once you back somebody to the fence, he can't really be that awkward anymore. We just seen too many times him just get picked apart when people that actually know what they're doing go after him. But go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say this, man. He's like I've heard people say this, and you didn't use this, but I was going to point something out if you did. But a lot of people say, "Oh, he doesn't have a chin," and you know, there's other reasons. But some people feel like he doesn't have a chin. But I mean, out of 33 pro fights, a lot of those in the UFC, he's fought a lot of top level guys. He's only been knocked out twice in his entire career, so I don't know if that's the case. And it was a pretty bad knockout though at the hands of Jimmy Manuwa, but. This is my thing about OSP. He's very well-rounded. He can submit you for sure, knock you out for sure, great wrestling. And so, yeah, if you're one of the best fighters in the world,
a lot better than his striking.
If you're one of the best fighters in the world, you can probably beat OSP, but you're going to literally have to be one of the best fighters in the world to do that.
For sure, for sure.
And so, like, last fight he was fighting Tyson Pedro, and Tyson Pedro actually rocked him, and that can happen. Fuck around and rock him and knock him out. But people he was the underdog coming into that fight, counting him out. And here we are again, and Dominic Reyes is undefeated, but he's got, I believe, 10 pro fights and just a lot less experience, or 9 pro fights. He just got a lot less experience. So, and maybe he is one of the best fighters in the world at 9-0.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of hype about this guy too. I haven't seen any of his fights though. I have to go back and watch.
He looked devastating. I remember his nickname really stood out. His nickname is the Devastator, Dominic the Devastator. But then last fight he knocked out Jared Cannonier in the first round. Before that he submitted Jeremy Kimball. Before that he knocked out Jokif Kristofferson. All three of his fights came in the first round by way of finish. That can happen here, but yo, he's got 9 pro fights. I'm just saying, like OSP. And a lot of the shit you said is probably true, but I don't know if Dominic Reyes has proven he's one of the best fighters in the world yet to just count OSP out again, because he's the underdog again, and I think he's getting counted out. Now, if he was fighting fucking even like a Volkan Ozdemir, okay, yeah, I pick Volkan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of these top guys, like I picked them for sure. But Dominic Reyes, I'm not sure if I can pick him to be OSP yet, but still, he's got the potential to finish OSP. But I think either one of these guys can go to sleep in this fight, honestly. And now I know my boy BJ's got to get in on this one. I'm going to let you bring this one in. Break down Michelle Waterson and Felice Herrig for us.
I think Herring
did he
gets
fall
it
off
done.
The panel? Okay.
Oh,
BJ might have fell off the panel. He'll probably be back. All right, so yeah, Infamous. You think Herrig gets it done?
Yeah, I think Herring gets it done. I think Waterson, and too many times I've seen her like just struggle at range to find, like, at least with her hands. Like when she fought Rolls, all she really had was a side kick to the knee, and she was getting picked apart. I feel like Herring, you know, she definitely has a high pace, and she throws a lot of strikes. And we saw Herring outstrike Alexa Grasso. So yeah, I think she's bigger, and I feel like she could really outwork her, even if things aren't going her way. I feel like she could just use her size, use her superior output to win that fight.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely got to let BJ get in on this. I know he can't wait to break down this fight. But to what you said, yeah, that's a great point as far as the size too, because a lot of people feel like Michelle Waterson could be fighting at atom weight, 105.
Yeah, she's small, man.
So,
she's small.
And
yeah,
she
she's
fought
definitely atom weight.
Courtney Casey in her last fight, who was a lot bigger than her. She managed to squeak out the split decision, but that was tough.
Yeah, that was tough. But
yeah, Felice Herrig, she might be a little underrated. I mean, I mean, if you just look at the resumes, kind of, I mean, before these last 3 fights, and that was a split decision. So let's just say, devil's advocate, Courtney Casey won. Well, Michelle Waterson would be on a 3-fight losing streak right now, and her last wins came over Paige Van Zandt and Magana. But now she got that win, but Paige Van Zandt and Angela Magana, I don't think a lot of people put a lot of stock into those wins. So Felice Herrig, like you said, she was able to stand up with Alexa Grasso, one of the better boxers in the division. She beat Courtney Casey, you can say, more decisively. It wasn't super decisive, but, it was still a split. And most recently, she's coming off a split loss to Karolina Kowalkiewicz, one of the best strikers in the division. But, BJ, I got to hear your thoughts on this fight, man. What do you think about Felice Herrig and Michelle Waterson?
Ooh, yeah, man. Like my man said, man, it's just the size difference. I mean, Michelle Waterson is definitely an atom weight. And we all know Felice Herrig gonna come into this fight shredded up. You know what I'm saying? We already know how
on some shit, yo.
We already know.
She eat no type of
here, dog. You got to stop. USADA has integrity. Man, no, man, O'Malley just got flagged. Fuck you, USADA, for the day.
I just think Michelle Waterson she's got a lot of heart, man. But as far as Felice Herrig, man, she's just too strong. Like, if Michelle Waterson tries to clinch up Felice Herrig, she gonna muscle her out.
Oh my God! If I see Michelle Waterson go for another fucking hip toss, I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna lose it.
No.
Don't you go for a fucking hip toss? You gonna get?
I'm gonna have to go with Felice Herrig, man. I'm excited to see this fight. I'm excited to see if Michelle Waterson can outdo the size and strength of Felice Herrig, but.
Polybia says John Jones snitching out Felice. She's not with Jackson Wiki. She's chill.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck Felice
Ken just says, I understand when I was there on that bullshit. Times have changed. Bob Cratcher says Felice is open to being submitted because she gets a little overzealous, but she's got heart for days. Yeah, this is going to be a fun fight, but it seems like the panel so far is leaning toward Felice, the Mystic full-time panel. So, now, this whole card is stacked, not just the main card. We broke down the main card now, but I know, BJ, you wanted to talk about Ladd versus Evinger. Break that down for me, and we'll look at some of these other fights as well. I want to break down. I really want to break down Pettis versus Formiga. People don't put respect on the flyweight division. That's not me. I think there's fights just as good. We've seen fights just as good as flyweight as we've saw at fucking heavyweight. We've seen,
Yep.
So I don't give a damn about how much these dudes weigh and all of that noise. This is a great fight. One of these guys can be fighting for the title, but I'm going to break that down coming up. But what do you think about Aspen Ladd, Tanya Evinger? They're opening up the Fox Sports prelims.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with Tanya Evinger on this one, man. And this is why I say Tanya Evinger. Tanya Evinger's fight IQ is her being such a veteran and being in there for so long and having so much experience in that octagon. I think she's gonna overwhelm Aspen Ladd. Because Tanya Evinger, she's the last of the scrappy fighters. If you think about it. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Evinger's the last of the Misha Tates. She's the last of the, her and Kat Zingano are some of the last of those scrappy fighters. You know what I'm saying? And, Aspen had an impressive win over Lena Landsberg, but, and Lena Landsberg's tough, but Tanya Evinger's not Lena Landsberg. You know what I'm saying? Tanya Evinger's got, years of experience. She's been a champion. She's long overdue for being in the UFC. So, and I believe that I believe that Aspen Ladd, if the only chance that Aspen has to win this fight is on the feet. Because if she tries to take Tanya Evinger down, that's dragging Tanya into her own waters. So that's my thoughts on that.
Okay, and yeah, man, Aspen is dangerous. I think out of her 6 fights, she's finished over half of them. I'll pull that up. She's 6-0, but she also had a lot of amateur fights, if I'm not mistaken her for someone else. I'm going to pull up her Sherdog. But also, she trains down there with Rose Namajunas and them, I believe. Aspen Ladd, she got a great training team. She's a legit bantamweight, only 23 years old. She's still a little green, but she's got wins over Sarge Eubanks and Lena Landsberg, which is very impressive. Sarge Eubanks, won the tough show at 125. They probably fought here at 135, I would imagine. But either way, that Sarge Eubanks might not be the most experienced, but like Aspen Ladd, her record's a little deceiving. She's still a great fighter.
Right.
Aspen Ladd had 3 amateur fights, lost to Calvillo in the amateurs, but either way, you can add that experience on to her pro experience a little bit as far as just fight experience. They're not pro fights, but yeah, she finished 5 of her 6 fights. Young finisher. She's got 4 KO TKOs, Aspen Ladd, and an armbar submission. So, and like you said, Tanya Evinger's a grinder. You try and take her down, she's willing to get down there with you. But I think that's what Aspen Ladd's probably going to try and do, because that's where she does her best work. She's got great grappling. She wants to take you down and ground and pound you, or she's even got submissions. So Aspen Ladd's a really good fighter. I think she's a great prospect, got a great future at bantamweight. But like you, I think Tanya Evinger, I think she can get this fight done. She's got so much experience. She's 37 years old, and that can come in. 23 years old to 37 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, that definitely can play a part in this fight. But I don't think Tanya Evinger's out of there by any means. And she, before coming to the UFC, she was the reigning, defending Invicta Bantamweight champion. Wins over Yana Kunitskaya.
I think she had the most fights in Invicta history.
She might. It looks like she signed back in 2013 with Invicta, and she won the belt, and she defended it multiple times against a lot of the best bantamweights that are not in the UFC. Penny Kinzad, Irene Aldana, Cindy Dandua, Idian Gomez. Like Yana Kunitskaya twice. And what's crazy is Yana Kunitskaya, I believe, she submitted her in that fight, but since she put her foot on her face, it got overturned, and so that is good for Evinger. But yeah, man,
this is got wins over
fight. She's got wins over Dandua. She's got wins over. She's got a fight with Gina Carano. It's all
even
there.
Before Invicta, she was fighting Alexis Davis, Sarah McMahon. She fought Alexis Davis twice, Julie Kedzie. Gina Carano, like you said, she's a WMMA pioneer. What were you gonna say, Infamous though?
So she stepped on somebody's face?
She didn't step on their face. This is what it was. She was okay. So Yana Kunitskaya had her in an armbar, and in trying to defend the armbar, or when Yana Kunitskaya was trying to secure it, she put her foot, I believe, on Evinger's face. I don't have the exact sequence in my head, but in putting her foot on Evanger's face while doing the arm bar, like I don't know if the referee, something happened with the referee and the fight was overturned because something to do with her foot going on her face, but Tanya Evinger tapped out, right? So originally it was ruled a loss for Tanya Evinger, but it was overturned and now it's a no contest. And then they rematched and Tanya Evinger actually submitted Yana in the next fight, so she got it back. But yeah, it was something to do with how she executed it and putting her foot in Evinger's face. Some weird shit, man. But that was an Invicta. Now Yana's also in the UFC, and Evinger finally got signed to the UFC, and she had to fight Cyborg. So now she just got knocked out by Cyborg, and now she's got another tough fight. But I think it's a winnable fight. But at the same time, Aspen Ladd, she's dangerous. You got any thoughts on this fight, Infamous MMA? Evinger versus Ladd?
Man, the only time I see Evinger fight was when she got beat up by Cyborg, and I never even seen that other girl fight.
Okay.
But
okay.
I know that Aspen Ladd, you said she worked with. I have a lot of respect for Trevor Whitman, the coach that works with Rose and Justin Gaethje. That guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and she's finished 5 of her 6 fights too, so she's dangerous.
Prospect. And we saw, what was the other girl we saw fight? Vienna, that trains with them too? Yeah, who was the other one that she fought that beat her? Remember?
That beat who? Pollyanna?
That beat that beat Pollyanna.
Most recently, I think, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
I know exactly who you're talking
I know
about.
those guys.
I always get them confused, bro. Her and Aspen Ladd, I swear to God.
They're well coached over there, so I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight. But
oh man, I know who you're talking about. That's gonna fucking rack my brain. I know exactly who you're talking about. JJ Aldrich, right? JJ Aldrich.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
there we go. Okay, but yeah, so. And she's finished 5 of her 6 fights. I want to look at a couple of these girls' records before she fought like Sarge. Just check out this Jessica Hoy chick. 1-1. Okay. I mean, but still, the finishes or the win over Sarge Eubanks and the finish of Lena Landsberg is still impressive.
Yeah,
but she might be a little in over her head here with Tanya Evinger. I mean, she's dangerous though. I mean, when she's her toughest fight, you could say was Lena Landsberg or Sarge, but you can look at these girls before and say, "Oh, they're not the best fighters in the world." But she finished them.
These two girls fights.
Yeah, so this is going to be a good fight, but we'll move on past that. I know it's not the one everyone's looking forward to. You got to be pretty hardcore. I don't know much about Jalen Turner. Vicente Luque is a beast, though. So, but Pettis versus Formiga. This has title implications. It's on the prelims. Number 2 ranked flyweight in the world, Sergio Pettis. Number 5 ranked flyweight in the world, Jussier Formiga. Both of these guys are knocking on fucking titles doorsteps with recent wins. Sergio Pettis just beat Joseph Benavidez. I know a lot of people didn't expect that because he's a little green, and Joseph Benavidez has proven he's one of the best flyweights in the world. But Benavidez was coming off a little bit of a layoff in that fight, and Pettis has been doing nothing but improving. He's got a lot of experience at the young age of 25 years old. He's got a fight family. Everyone knows his brother, Anthony Pettis, so you can imagine Sergio has been training since even younger, you know, to kind of come up and be a fighter. So, I mean, he's had shown potentially some holes in his takedown defense in the past, but he's worked on those. We saw in his last fight. And, I mean, he fought fucking Henry Cejudo, who's one of the best wrestlers in the UFC, let alone the flyweight division. So, big win for Pettis there. Now he's taking on Jussier Formiga, 21-5 Jussier Formiga. Jussier Formiga is coming off of a 3rd-round submission over Ben 10 win. Before that, Oka Sasaki. And the way that the flyweight division is, how Demetrius Johnson, he's been clearing out the division, just beating everybody. There wasn't clear-cut contenders. And so after that 2nd win in a row, 2nd submission finish in a row, Formiga he shot his shot. Hey, I want to fight Demetrius. Let's go. And so he's not there yet because Demetrius isn't the champion looking for a fresh face anymore. But if he can beat the number 2 contender, Sergio Pettis, he's definitely in that mix. DJ's injured right now. So if Cejudo doesn't fight TJ Dillashaw in a champ versus champ super fight, I'm about 95% confident the winner of this fight will be fighting Henry Cejudo next. So Formiga versus Pettis, title implications. How do you guys see this fight going? Either one of you guys want to break this down? Infamous MMA. I don't know if oh yeah, BJ's here. BJ's muted. So Infamous, you got any thoughts on Formiga versus Pettis?
Yeah, Formiga, you know, he's a good fighter, a good jiu-jitsu, but Sergio really impressed me. Even in that loss against Cejudo, he was showing some good takedown defense. He was doing good in that fight, and he looked good in that Benavidez fight too. You know, he was clipping up Benavidez in that 1st round. Benavidez was kind of coming up. Yeah, like Sergio, I feel like he's starting to get that confidence in himself. He's starting to, trust his counters, he has great movement. I think he has better hands than Anthony Pettis, in my opinion. And yeah, I think he gets it done with this
I
Formiga.
think that's fair.
I don't think Formiga's wrestling is even close to Benavidez's or Cejudo's, and we saw how good Pettis did against those two. So,
And
I'm
this
going
is the
for
thing
Pettis.
too. I mean, you're going for Pettis. That's a good call. I'm looking at because I mean, Formiga's coming off of submitting 2 guys in a row, and Pettis fought before Cejudo. He was on a 4-fight winning streak, and before the most recent win was over Brandon Moreno, very talented jiu-jitsu player, and he was not able to submit Pettis. He took him down 4 times. He had the opportunity to submit him, but he wasn't able to, and so that says something for Pettis' jiu-jitsu defense as well. And so for Formiga,
Good
he's
point.
really going to have to come in here and figure, put together a good game plan to get this win. I think it's possible. I think it's possible for Formiga to win, but coming off that win over Joseph Benavidez, he's been fighting some of the best of the best. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Pettis is
you look
looking
at the
great.
last
He could
4
very well
fights
win
with both
this.
guys. Pettis has been at a much higher level lately.
Yeah, man, this is it's close. I don't know. I think if Pettis can beat Benavidez, he can probably beat Formiga, but I'm not going to count Formiga all the way out. But yeah, this is a
Formiga's a
good
tough
fight.
guy.
I'm looking forward to that fight for sure. So O'Malley versus Quinonez, no longer going down, unfortunately.
O'Malley would have lit that motherfucker up.
Yeah, he would have smoked him like a motherfucking joint. You know what I'm saying? I was looking
Yep.
forward to it. But it is
That
what
fight
it
was going to be
is.
easier than the joint that he was going to smoke.
Yo, let's go. But you know what, full-time family? I said this, and I said it coming into this, man. I'm willing to sacrifice. I said even if it's a big fight. I mean, Pettis versus Ferguson is a big fight. But even if it's Pettis versus Ferguson, we might have to lose a fight if it takes keeping this card intact. Sacrifice O'Malley versus Quinonez to the MMA gods. Give O'Malley a little more time to heal up, prove himself innocent, and then he can come back. We'll be good. But as long as McGregor versus Khabib is intact, I ain't even going to complain. I ain't even mad. So, other than that, you got, I'll wait for BJ to hop back on. I know he wants to
Well,
talk
I
about
like that
Lynch.
O'Malley got ahead of the curve. He didn't
I do
allow.
too. I think that was a
Like
fucking
that
dope
shows.
move.
That shows to me like.
Yeah, I expect
probably
him to be innocent. I don't look at him as a guy that I thought was cheating and finally
Hell
they
no.
caught him. Like I expect him to be cleared and found innocent here. And,
Me too.
so yeah, I like that he came out in front of it, announced it and this is the the day that new program started. He didn't have to announce it. So yeah, I like that. I think it doesn't prove his innocence, but I think it kind of shows.
I think it gives him a better look.
I agree. And so on the Fight Pass prelims, I mean, you got Ryan LaFleur, Tony Martin, Gray Maynard, Nick Lynch, Scott Holtzman, Alan Patrick, and Lena Landsberg versus Yana Kunitskaya. If BJ was here, I'm sure he would want to talk about Landsberg versus Kunitskaya, but I'm going to pull up the chat, and if there's any of those fights that stood out to you, Infamous MMA, let me know, and we can talk about those fights as well until BJ potentially gets back. Oh, he said, got to run, bro. We'll do it again. Okay, BJ's out, so probably won't be breaking down Landsberg versus Kunitskaya, but it's still all good. Thanks for hopping on the chat. Unemployed Mario
Both
Yamasaki.
of these girls fought Cyborg, right?
Yeah. Both of those
Okay.
girls were Cyborg food at one point, as well as Evanger. Yeah, we got a lot of Cyborg food down here. No,
Yep.
but yeah, they both did fight Cyborg. Now they're
Cyborg
fighting at
is
bantamweight.
tossing on these bitches.
Oh yeah.
I had to jump back on for this, guys. I mean,
Okay.
I had to go, but I had to jump back on for this one, though.
All right, well, break it down for us. Break it down. Yana,
I love that
Kunitskaya.
he's a hardcore women MMA fan.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely,
Salute to the
absolutely.
coach.
I
You
love
know what I'm
that.
saying? That's where I met BJ. I mean, coach's channel, CSH Combat Sports. Of course, make sure you subscribe over there as well. And No Filter MMA, also Infamous MMA. I seen you put up a couple videos, so salute to you guys. Make sure you go check out Infamous MMA's channel as well. So, yeah, man. Kunitskaya, Landsberg, BJ hopping back on. Got to break it down. Let's go.
Woo. I'm going to get his thoughts, then I really got to run. I am picking Yana Kunitskaya to win this fight, and this is why I say Yana Kunitskaya. Lena Landsberg, for Lena Landsberg to be, an accomplished Muay Thai champion, she really doesn't fight like one sometimes. It's kind of, I don't want to say that Lena Landsberg is a boring fighter because she's tough as nails. Like Lena
Bro, she's the
Landsberg.
elbow queen, bro.
Yeah, she's the elbow queen. Yeah, and she's the elbow queen, and she got some nasty elbow. Like
Oh, okay.
her elbows are like sneaky elbows. It's like elbows you don't think is gonna hurt, but she lands those elbows. But when it comes to Yana Kunitskaya, man, I think Yana was able to muscle up Cyborg a little bit in there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I just think Yana's got the kicks. You know, Yana's got the grappling. I don't think Landsberg throws with a whole lot of power, which Yana has been known to throw with some power. Um, I just think Yana, you know, is a little younger, a little bit more youth on Yana's side. Landsberg, you know, in the clinch, I think because Landsberg's will engage in the clinch, like she loves the clinch. And if she engages in the clinch with Yana Kunitskaya, I mean, she's gonna get muscled up, man. She's gonna get muscled up, period. Because Yana's a big girl, dude, and Yana's got like that spinning kick to the body that Yana's got. I mean, she's gonna wear Landsberg out with that, man. Like, you know, so I'm just curious to see what is. I'm curious to see if Yana drags it to the ground. I want to see what Landsberg can do on the ground because Ladd embarrassed her on the ground. But my definite projection for this fight is Yana Kunitskaya.
Okay. All right. Well, broke it all the way down. Yes, sir. Well, yeah, you broke it all the way down. I think I gave a slight edge to Yana as well. Lena's got a little more UFC experience. She is the elbow queen. She's got a win, which it is impressive. I think she got 2 wins actually over Lucy
Yeah, she got 2
Pudilova.
wins. She
But
got two
the
wins.
second one, I kind of felt like Pudilova might have won. Lena Landsberg was beat the fuck up after that fight, but it was a decision and it was unanimous. Come on, at least give my girl Lucy a split in that fight. She tore Lena up in that fight, but it is what it is.
And
Lena,
she beat Gina Mazzani too.
yeah, who Lucy?
No,
Oh,
Lena.
Lena. Oh, outside the UFC. Okay.
No,
Oh
no,
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 her
no, no,
last
no, no.
fight. Her
That was
last
in the
fight. That was her last
UFC.
fight. That was her most recent fight. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. So
yeah.
that's an impressive win too. But Lucy Pudilova, I feel like Lucy Pudilova, she's got some good stand up. So to beat her twice, that's impressive. So she's got some solid wins. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think Yana Kunitskaya, though, she got a good chance of winning this fight. She was fighting Tanya Evinger over in Invicta. It's not like she was fighting scrubs. You know, she was fighting
Right.
at the top of the division over in
Yeah.
Invicta. So I think. And she even submitted Tanya Evinger. Say what you want about the foot in the face. Like, she's got that win almost. It was turned into a no
Yeah.
contest, but that's super impressive there. So,
Yeah.
I agree. So thanks for hopping back on and breaking down that fight. Infamous MMA, you want to talk about this fight at all? I mean, really,
Yeah,
pretty
I'll go
much.
with the Yuna, whatever.
You going with
Whatever you
Yana?
guys are going with, I'll go.
Yana Kunitskaya? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I swear
well,
I don't be paying attention with some of these undercard fights. That's why I keep forgetting.
okay.
But once
well,
I watch them fight, I'm like, okay, I remember now.
yeah, and then both of them have been Cyborg food in the past. So I mean, that's really their biggest. Yeah, that's one of some of their biggest. You know, this you known
Cyborg
for.
eats. Cyborg eats.
Cyborg meals. We got like 3 of them. Evinger too. It is what it is, though. They're good fighters. But unemployed Mario Yamasaki says,
They recycling them.
yeah. He said, wasn't
Oh my
Lena
God.
fighting bare knuckle? I don't think so yet. I don't think she has yet. She might
I
after
think he
this
confusing.
fight.
I think he confusing Lena with Beck Rollins.
Yeah, you might be confusing Lena with Beck Rawlings. I think there's another chick that maybe recently signed, but Beck Rawlings is the queen of bare knuckle right now. You sort of like that care, don't care segment they do on Bloody Elbow. Okay, hey, we might have to add that segment to the panel, man. Care, don't care. Okay, yeah. All right, well, with that being said, do you guys care or not care about anything else? You actually, BJ, you want to give closing thoughts? Because we broke down Bellator 206. We broke down UFC 229. We talked about Sean O'Malley's USADA suspension. Don't got a lot more, so if you just want to stay on for your closing thoughts, I mean, we can jump to that, BJ.
Hey man, you know, I'm excited for 229, man. I'm a little disappointed with 228. It kind of left me hanging, but Nico left me hanging. But 229, I'm definitely excited for. I think Khabib's, you know, I think it's going to be an and still night. I think we're going to get it's vacant. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
Okay. It's vacant, you know, as thin as the bantamweight division is right now, I think, you know, we got some potential contenders coming up. We got Kat back in the picture. We got, you know, potentially Yana Kunitskaya, potentially Tanya Evinger up in the picture now. So, you know, and, you know, Juliana Pena coming back, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just happy to see what's going on. I hate that Sean O'Malley can't fight, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Tony Ferguson back, and I'm just, you know, ready to see this card, man. I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Infamous MMA. You want to give your closing thoughts on anything we've talked about today, or just anything going on in MMA?
Dude, I read that fucking 228 did 130,000 buys. God damn, that's terrible.
What did 130,000 buys? 228.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like we were wondering what I was gonna do. I was like, Woodley, what the fuck, bro? But yeah, that was crazy to me.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, but honestly, shit, that card got decimated. Originally, they were scrambling for a main event. They got Woodley versus Till, which a lot of people thought didn't make sense with the whole Covington and the Till missing weight and then you had the co-main event scrapped. What was that?
They should have just waited for the Covington fight, but
oh god, that wasn't even it. You had the co-main event scrapped. Yeah, Yair Rodriguez fell off the fucking card, like that card, yeah, I can kind of see. I mean, unless Tyron Woodley's going to be selling, all the pay-per-views, there wasn't much to buy there. Till, I'm sure he got a little support, but yeah, that card fell apart. But 229, I don't think they're going to have any problems selling pay-per-views. So, anything else though? I mean,
I would not mind doing another debate on this Khabib versus McGregor because I still got more. I feel like I have an idea of what
we're gonna man this
because I still have way more shit to talk about that fight.
Well, this is what we'll do. Like I'm gonna start. I'll probably just go live. I'm gonna set a time because I work this whole week, so I'm gonna set a exact time. It'll probably.
I want you to get like some hardcore Khabib fans because I will body every single one of them in this debate.
Let's go. We're gonna have a debate.
It'll go 1v7. Me versus 7 of these motherfuckers. All
right, we're gonna set up like the ultimate debate. What day should we do it? Like Thursday or Friday? We'll set up like the ultimate McGregor versus Khabib debate.
Hold up. You said Thursday.
Wednesday. It can be anytime this week. Anytime before the fight.
Yeah, let's do it Thursday then. Wait, Wednesday? Oh, let's do it Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay, Wednesday. So we're going to do the ultimate debate, McGregor versus Khabib on Wednesday. The press conference is when? Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do it Wednesday, the ultimate debate. So that being said, thanks for coming on the panel. I'm going to pull up the chat and chop it up.
All right, so any of you Khabib fans that want this work, because you will get bodied on this debate, be there Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Wednesday, the ultimate McGregor versus Khabib debate. I'll promote that in a couple videos and shit. Let people know it's going down. So, fuck yeah. Thanks for coming on the panel, Benji. Everybody else, you didn't get to chat. You said he was a little late. It's all good. You'll hop on the next one. He says, I know for a fact I'm in the minority. I legit don't care about CONOR versus Khabib. Dolly thrower versus pull-out merchant. Oh shit, Benji.
I'll make sure I'm there for that. I'll make sure I'm there for that.
BJ got a
oh yeah. I'll make sure I'm there for that.
Hell yeah, McGregor versus Khabib, the ultimate debate. It's going down Wednesday, guys.
Oh yeah.
Better be ready.
All right, it's gonna be.
You
in the
better
daytime.
be ready, man. It's going down.
I'm ready right now.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank y'all for coming on. Everybody else in the chat, thank you guys for coming through, man. We're about to shut it down. For as far as my final thoughts, just UFC 229 is less than 7 days away. McGregor versus Khabib. Free O'Malley. He's innocent. I mean, he's never came across as a cheater. He's not a guy you look at like, oh yeah, he's on steroids. They finally caught him. Like, he's fucking playing Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? Fucking shit up. He ain't just on there sucking either. John O'Malley got the win over Ninja. Another topic for another day. He's not no motherfucking cheater. Free O'Malley. I like the way he got out in front of this thing. He came through. He didn't just let it go and make people, he could have went quiet about it with USADA's new change, but he got out in front of it, let us know what's going on. So salute to Sean O'Malley, free O'Malley, he's innocent. And with that being said, UFC 229 is still stacked. That's just a little sacrifice to the MMA gods. It is what it is, man. So thank you guys for coming on. We'll be back tomorrow. Set time is going to be 12 a.m. Eastern, guys, this whole week, 12 a.m. Eastern. We'll probably be doing panels and all that shit leading up. And then, of course, the ultimate Conor McGregor versus Khabib debate on Wednesday. It's going down at the same time, 12 a.m. Eastern. So thank you guys for coming on. I'm going to shut it down for the night, but I'll be back tomorrow morning. Let the full-time family know what you guys think in the comments. We are out.
Peace.
And also, guys, make sure you subscribe to Infamous MMA. Make sure you go check out his channel. Also, No Filter MMA, BJ Johnson. So check out the channels as well. Make sure you do that. Now we're out.
Dude, to be honest, I've been super inactive, so I need to get on that. But
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just just check it out for some of your other videos. I mean, inactive now, but it's in the works. So make sure you guys, if you enjoyed Infamous MMA, check out his channel. All right, now we are out, family.